RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And good morning, everybody. This is Mike Buckosh with RTF Sports Talk. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday morning. If you're not, sorry about your luck. But as always, I'm joined here today with Billy Hatton. Billy, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. My Seminoles finally got another win in the win column. Excited about that.
Oh, speaking of wins, how about Kentucky Wildcats beating down Mississippi State last night? Woo.
Yes,
Ooh.
very surprised.
Very surprised. Not over here, man. Well, I have to admit, I did depict them to lose, but my man on Big Blue Breakdown, Chris Hill, man, I believe he predicted the score about right too. I believe he picked like 28-10 and 28-7. So, nonetheless, Billy, it's NFL time. How you feeling today?
Oh, I'm in a good mood. I'm ready to roll, man. Rock and roll.
Well, speaking of good moods, I'm in a great mood because I get my Kansas City Chiefs today in this Louisville, Kentucky market, and I couldn't be more excited. So let's go and start out with that pick today. Kansas City Chiefs home opener versus the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you got?
I got the Kansas City Chiefs on this one. I don't think there's any way that Garoppolo on that offense is going to be able to match the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the defense has been struggling a little bit, but Patrick Mahomes, man, on the season is just absolutely killing it. 38 of 55, 582 yards, 10 touchdowns through the first three games. And against this San Francisco defense, I don't see how that changes. Sherman is not the corner that he once was, so he's not as feared as he used to be. And even if he was, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is that kind of quarterback to be scared of anybody. He's proven to be a gunslinger. He's proven that he's going to make the tough throws if it's the right throw. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs run away with this game today.
And I'm going to kind of echo exactly what you said. Week number 1, Patrick Mahomes scared me. I'm not going to lie. I picked my Kansas City Chiefs to lose, which was a dumb mistake. Week number 2, I was like, you know what? They're rolling into Steel Town, going across country again, thinking, you know what? Patrick Mahomes, Steel City, Pittsburgh, and then all that turmoil started to happen. You turned me around. I picked the Kansas City Chiefs, and I learned my lesson. I'm never picking against the Kansas City Chiefs again. Unless it's obvious, but this one is an obvious pick to not pick the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason being it's Patrick Mahomes. This kid, he has an NFL record 10 touchdowns in his first 2 games. 10 touchdowns. Wrap your head around that. 10 touchdowns. And
has not thrown an interception.
Interception. And this offense has not even started to click yet. They are still kind of trying to figure out that, how to get Hunt involved, how to try to get Kelsey involved more. So once this offense starts rolling and starts clicking, there's no slowing them down. The only slowing down that I possibly see is the defense with the injuries that always seem to be nagging them. Eric Berry seems to be hurt every other week. He's starting to be kind of like the Sean Lee of the Kansas City Chiefs almost. Yes, Eric Berry has been a staple of this Kansas City defense for a long time. He beat cancer a couple years ago, but if Eric Berry can come back, I see the Kansas City Chiefs as a Super Bowl team as they stand right now. So 100%, I'm going Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying a blowout, but I'm saying the score is going to be fairly lopsided. First home game of the year for Kansas City Chiefs. Arrowhead's going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. It's going to be noisy. Chiefs win big.
I definitely agree. I mean, and to add Sammy Watkins in there, I mean, they have tons of playmakers on that offensive side of the ball. I'm looking for them to roll again today.
Well, let's just roll right on to our next pick. Carson Wentz is coming back for the Eagles after that torn LCL and ACL from, I believe it was week 14 last season. And Andrew Luck is finally looking like the old Andrew Luck from a couple years ago. So, like I kind of made a thumbnail of this game, the battle of the broken boys type of thing. So, Eagles versus Colts. Who do you got and why?
I got the Colts winning this game, and I got the Colts winning because I think with Carson Wentz coming back into the fold, like you say, he hasn't played, in a long time. The team is kind of comfortable with Nick Foles, and even though they got beat last week, they got beat by a very good Bucs team, or at least a Bucs team that's playing, at a really, really high level right now. But with Carson Wentz, I think the emotional factor is going to be there. Not to mention, not only is this his first game back, he's getting a home game in his first game back. I think, we haven't played in so long, and, you get hurt. You always hear them talk about, oh, man, I contemplated whether or not I can get back, and, all this other stuff. I think those emotions overtake him in his very first game. Andrew Luck, like you say, has started to gain his footing, but he is a turnover machine. He's always been that. But I think the Colts win this game today by a very, very slim margin.
And so I'm going to take your same exact points that you made against the Eagles, but I'm going to turn them into a positive. This is a positive that Carson Wentz is starting his first game back at home versus the Colts. Historically, the Colts do lead the series. I believe it's 10-8, if my facts serve me right. And the Eagles are undefeated versus the Colts at their new Lincoln Financial Field. The last game they played was 4 or 5 years ago. I believe it was week 2 of the season of the 2014 season is when they last played. So this was before Andrew Luck was even in the NFL. If my facts are correct on that, or not my facts, but like my memory serves me correct. So with Carson Wentz being back this week at home versus a Colts team that's still kind of unproven. Yes, Andrew Luck is starting to shine of his old ways, but so is that line. That line is still showing that they cannot protect him, and the defense is still a mediocre defense at best. So that's why I'm picking the Eagles, not by a slim margin, but 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, you think it's going to be that? I just don't think with Carson Wentz, I just don't think this been his first game. I just don't see him coming in, clicking and gelling. Not to mention, they have some guys out. Darren Sproles is not going to be playing today.
Right.
Also, Alshon Jeffries is still hurt. He's not gonna. They got him listed as questionable, but I don't see him playing today. Jason Peters, they got him listed as questionable. And Jason Peters is one of the best left tackles in all of football. So I don't trust neither one of these teams because I also don't think that the Eagles are going to be as good as people say that they are going to be this year. And I don't trust the Colts, but I just think in this first game back, I think this is an opportunity for the Colts to jump out early on some quick misconnections by Wentz and his receivers while he's just trying to get his foot back.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be probably a hard game to watch, but I think the 10 to 14 point win on the Eagles side is not going to show how close or how ugly the game actually was. There'll be a couple big plays, a fumble recovery, maybe a pick six to kind of stretch out that lead. But that's just my opinion, and I'm normally right. So, all right. So let's move on to kind of a intriguing game. Like I think Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers. Bengals are 2-0, and the Panthers are, I believe, are 1-1 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they're 1-1. So who do you got?
This one was kind of hard for me to pick, honestly. I kind of went back and forth, especially being Carolina at home. I normally take the home team when I'm kind of undecided on which team I really trust the most. But I think in this case right here, the Bengals are in a very rare spot, or a very good spot, I should say, because, the Browns are 1-1. The Steelers are 0-2-1. And the Ravens, I believe, is 1-1 right now.
Sounds
so, and they have a pretty tough one today, themselves. So, for me, I think the Bengals know what they're going into right now, and I think the Bengals get it done. I like Andy Dalton and the boys, to get this done. Him and AJ Green, they've been rolling. Joe Mixon, that offense has been looking every bit of good. And then, I look at the Carolina Panthers, and they have a lot of key guys out today. Curtis Samuel, one of Cam Newton's favorite targets since Benjamin has been gone, and he doesn't have Ted Ginn anymore. He's out for today. So I'm looking at the offense of the Carolina Panthers to struggle big time. Cam Newton did get it going last week, but it was a little bit too late. And I think that's what happens today. I think the Bengals jump out to an early lead, and the Panthers can't come back from it. Looking for the Panthers to lose this game.
And just to kind of echo that Kelvin Benjamin trade that you are referring to, ever since that trade, I think the Panthers have become a more well-rounded offense because they don't have that number one receiver to go to anymore. Type of thing. They are relying on the underneath passing, and McCaffrey, or is that how you say his name? McCaffrey. Yeah, that tailback. And then Cam is just being Cam. But ever since the last 16 games of Andy Dalton's career, he has 31 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions. And Andy Dalton is looking like a possibly top-tier quarterback as of late. And I think that trend today is going to continue in Carolina. They're on their best start in like my most recent thought. Like I don't remember like how far it goes back, but they are seeking their first 3-0 start since I can remember. So I mean it's been 10, 12 years at least. So. And then looking forward, like at their schedule, they have one of the easiest schedules. So that they are looking to win this game, win it big, and jump out in that weak division that they're in and kind of secure it early. So I'm picking Bengals, let's say 7 points.
I think I agree with that for sure. I think they keep it rolling because they know what's at stake. A 3-0, start in that division. That's really big right now, with everybody else kind of dealing with their problems in that division.
Yeah, that division is looking fairly ugly, to be honest with you.
Most definitely.
Speaking of a division that's not looking ugly, the Denver Broncos division, the AFC West is looking pretty strong, and the Broncos are playing the Ravens today. Who do you got?
Simply put, I just got the Broncos, I think the Broncos have been rolling. Case Keenum hasn't really looked all that great. He got 3 touchdowns to 4 interceptions on the year. And Joe Flacco been kind of middle of the road, but I still don't trust them. They are at home today, so anything can happen. They can get the win. And that offense has looked a little bit better than what I thought that they could look. I don't think they'll look as bad as they did in the game. The first half of that Bengals game last Thursday night, but I don't trust them, and I think that Broncos defense led by Von Miller, I think is going to get some pressure onto Joe Flacco, cause him to make some early mistakes, and we know what Joe Flacco, he will throw it up there to somebody and get it picked off. That's Joe Flacco, and I'm looking for that to happen again today. I think the Broncos get their running game going like they got it going last week. I think Case Keenum be a little bit better against this Baltimore defense, who's not really all of that great. The corners they're okay. So I think Case Keenum get it going today. Emmanuel Sanders score a pair of touchdowns today. I think the Broncos win, probably by I'd say 6 points.
And I definitely hope Emmanuel Sanders gets a couple touchdowns just to help my fantasy team. He's been kind of struggling the last few weeks here. But I'm going to definitely echo what you said. The only thing the Ravens have going for them today is the games at 1 o'clock on the East Coast in Baltimore. So in Colorado time, I believe that's like 11 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock. I'm not for sure quite where they fall in that time zone time frame, but let's say 11 o'clock. So
I think Denver is. You say Denver?
Yeah.
I think Denver is 1 hour behind my time. So if that's a 1 o'clock kick, I think it's a 12 o'clock kick for them.
Okay. But it's a fairly early kickoff. Whenever a Central or a West Coast team has to travel East Coast and they play that 1 o'clock game, history tells me that team comes out a little sluggish, like a little slow. So that's the only thing the Ravens have going for them today. Case Keenum, I believe, is 10-1 in his last 11 starts as a starter. Like obviously, like his passer rating isn't that great. I believe it's around the 80s, 80 to 82.
But he found a way to win.
Range. Yeah, but Case Keenum, he led the Vikings to the championship game. And I just can't fathom why they would trade him for Kirk Cousins still. But that's a story for a different day, maybe a Tuesday. But I'm just going to cut it short and tell you Broncos win. It's going to be a slugfest. So I'm going to say 3 to 4 point range. So let's say 3 points, simply because they're on the road playing on the East Coast.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the Broncos by a slim margin. I just think that they are a better team right now than the Ravens. So I think they definitely get it done today.
So quick yes or no
answer. And they know what's at stake too. They know what's at stake being 2-0 right now.
Yeah. So like I kind of want to ask you a question on like on that. Who do you think is better in that AFC West division? Is it the Chiefs right now, or is it the Broncos? Who needs to win more this week?
Who needs to win more? I think the Broncos need to win more this week. Who is the best team? I think the Chiefs is the best team in that division. I think when I said on this show a few weeks ago, or last week maybe, they say defense wins championships, but it does not matter if you can't score any points, because you also have to score more points than the other team. And I think being that the Broncos offense is a tad bit more limited, I think they have to make do of these opportunities when they can, these so-called easy win or these questionable games. I think these are the games they have to win, whereas the Chiefs got an offense where they can get hot, and they can go on the streak. So the Broncos need to win more this week, but I think the Chiefs is the best team in that division right now.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to possibly what has been the best team in recent history, the Patriots versus the Lions. The Patriots come in as a 6.5-point favorite versus the Lions, who sit at 0-2 after the opening season, obviously to the loss, and they lost to San Francisco 49ers on the road as well. So who do you got in this game, Sunday night game?
I got the Patriots. Bill Belichick has a 3-1 record against his former assistants in their first game coaching against him. The only guy that's been able to beat him was Josh McDaniels back when he coached for the Denver Broncos. And he has 11-4 record total out of all of those playing out of all of his assistants, with Mangini winning 3 and then Josh McDaniels got the 1. So I don't think that. I think the trend continues. I think Matt Patricia is a good defensive coach, but I think he's no match for Brady, and I think his team is severely, very, very undermatched in this one. I do not like the Lions. Even though they're at home, I do not like the Lions at all. I think I got a trend going here. I don't think I picked the home team at all this so far yet, but I think this trend continues. Bill Belichick with his assistants is almost how Nick Saban is with his assistant. How Nick Saban is 12-0 against his assistant. Bill Belichick is right there. like I say, outside of the Aaron McGenie 3 wins and, Josh McDaniels 1-1, he's literally been killing the rest. Bill O'Brien is 0-5 against him, and so is Romeo Crennel. He's a over. So I think that trend continues today. I think Bill Belichick moves to 4-1 against his assistants in their first time coaching against him. I don't see why anything would change today playing the Detroit Lions.
And I love all those stats that you dropped. That's exactly what I have wrote down here. I have the 11-4 record against his former assistants. Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, and Bill O'Brien. And that 11-4 record includes the playoffs, just like us as well. So, and the Lions head coach spent 6 years as a defensive coordinator at New England. So these guys know each other very, very well. I'm anticipating the only reason why the Patriots might stumble just a little bit, maybe out of the gate, is they're trying to get Josh Gordon into the game a little bit, maybe hit him on a deep pass just to be like, hey, we have this big-time receiver now. We want to try to get him down the field once or twice just until we revert back to the Patriots way. To dink and dunk, get that Sony, what's his last name? Who's running back?
Sony Michel.
Yeah, try to get him into the game, even though he's kind of been held in check the last 2 games. I anticipate them giving him the ball 20 to 24 times, and he gets 103 or 4 yards, and he scores twice, and just it's going to get ugly quick. Sorry, Lions fans. Sorry, Chris Hill. It's going to get ugly, and you're going to want to turn it off at halftime when it's time for bed. So. Moving on.
I definitely agree. I don't think it would be close today at all.
Yeah, the only chance they have, Tom Brady goes down. Only chance they have.
Definitely.
So Monday night game, we have the Steelers versus the Bucks. The surprising Buccaneers 2-0. Who do you got?
I think, I said earlier I don't think I had took the home team at all, but I think that was a lie. I took the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm right back on that bandwagon right now, taking the home team. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Bucks on this. I mean, Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic, whatever they got going on down there, I think that works for them, on the season, 48 to 61, 819 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception so far. Deshaun Jackson is looking like the Deshaun Jackson that we saw back when he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. He hasn't got the receptions over the 3 games that he would probably like. He's only averaging 3 catches per game. But, the deep down the field stuff, he's looking right on cue. He got added 275 yards with that, 3 touchdowns. I think the one thing I said on Unpopular Opinion, that I think they leave Fitzpatrick in there because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to mess up that chemistry, and they have that chemistry right now going, almost kind of like how the Dallas Cowboys was back when Tony Romo got hurt and Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott was born. You just don't want to mess up that chemistry. I think right now the chemistry that Fitzpatrick has with his receivers, the Mike Evans, the O.J. Howard, the Deshaun Jackson, I think that group is clicking, and they're going to be energized at home, and they're going to feast on a hurting Pittsburgh Steelers. We already know all the stuff that's been going on. Le'Veon is not there. Antonio Brown missed Monday. So who knows what kind of handle Mike Tomlin have on that team? And are these guys ready to go? They say James Conner is this and that. I haven't really seen it outside of game number 1, which was a game that was prime for him. It was raining. Big Ben was struggling. It's your first game in there. But last week he looked pretty mediocre to me. So Schuster has been their one bright spot on the year. Got 18 catches, 240 yards, but only 1 touchdown. He hasn't really gotten the end zone that much. I'm looking for the Pittsburgh Steelers to struggle again today. And Fitzmagic come out. I think Fitz throw at least 3 touchdowns today. I don't see him getting 400 yards. But the way that defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers is set up, that 400 yards is very attainable. But I look at him getting about 330, about 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I got the Bucks winning by 10.
All right, Billy. I'm going to try to bring out my inner Matthew Lyle here because we miss him so much. He'll probably be back on the show on Thursday when we go live at 1 p.m. on the East Coast. All right, ready? Billy, Ryan Fitzpatrick is an amusement park ride. He goes up and he goes down. Last 2 games, he's been up, 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 up. This game, he goes down, 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 down. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing out of his mind. I was trying to look at his stats, to try to prep for the show, and his stats are so weird. There are games when he's throwing 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then the next game he has 16 yards, 3 picks. Then he's up to 200 yards, two touchdowns, and the next game he has 103 yards, 2 picks. He is an amusement park ride, and these last 2 games have been up, 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 and I think tonight he goes down, 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 down. I think there's too much riding on him to continue the way he's playing. There is a reason why he's bounced to 12 teams in the NFL. Like, if you name a random team, he's probably played on that team at some point. And just there's a reason for that. Is because he cannot maintain that stability of being a premier quarterback. The reason why he's at Tampa Bay playing well right now is because he can hold down the fort for 4 games. Once that 4 games is up, Jameis Winston's going to come back because Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to play bad tonight. Steelers are going to win. And then game 4, he'll play his mediocre game, his 150 yards, maybe have a touchdown, couple of interceptions, and then it's Jameis's team. So this is the beginning of the end of the Bucs.
That's where I think you're wrong. I think if you have any room to say that, I think it'll be next week when they play against the Bears defense. That's a little bit better defense with Khalil Mack and the boys coming, Eddie Goldman, coming off that offensive line. That defensive line. I think that's the week that he could probably struggle with.
And
that
I definitely agree with you that the Bears
defense
defense is better than the Steelers. I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening with the Steelers because what has the Steelers been able to do to anybody? Even Tyrod Taylor, he had a horrible game. He was 15 or 40 that game, but I think a lot of those throws was missed by Tyrod Taylor. I think the problem is the quarterback just didn't make the defense pay for a lot of things that they were doing, and then even last week what Patrick Mahomes was able to do, and I'm not saying Fitzpatrick is Mahomes, but what I'm saying is he has that same type gunslinger mentality, and the Steelers are known to let DBs get behind them, and Deshaun Jackson could have a really, really big day today, and then you couple that with Mike Evans on the other side. Who do they have to stop these guys? And historically, the Steelers are really, really bad against, playing against tight ends who can run. They have that in O.J. Howard, who is that Travis Kelce, Gronkowski type mix, where he can run a 4-4, but he's 6'6", so he can go up and get the ball over your bigger cornerbacks. He's too big for your safeties and all that, too fast for your safeties or your linebacker. I think Fitzpatrick has a big, big day today against, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who's really not. We don't know how they're going to come to play today. With all the stuff that's been going on. I said last week, distractions is something bad, it's something crazy, and it can affect the whole entire team. I'm looking for that to continue this week.
Okay, so let me provide a couple points for you here. Yes, O.J. Howard is I'd say he's a above average tight end. He might be as athletic as Travis Kelce is. He's definitely not on his level, but he, athletic wise, he might be right there. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have only allowed 10 receptions for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns for the opposing tight ends. So if they target that tight end, he might get a couple yards, but they're only going to complete about 50% of those passes, maybe less. And as far as your other point, the Steelers have that inner turmoil happening, but I think Antonio Brown has it locked in. He has a great game. Juju Smith-Schuster has a big night as well. Big Ben opens the field, throws it all around, and when you're scoring 45 points, the defense can give up 35 points and still win. Steelers win.
For their sake, I sure hope you're right. For their sake, I just don't think that happens tonight. I mean, I don't think that happens on Monday night. And they're playing on the road, so you got distractions. And you're playing on the road. You haven't played really a good game all year. I thought last week when they played the Kansas City Chiefs, they got back in the game because Kansas City got up so big. And you see me tweet that out on Twitter.
You're right.
Why are you playing prevent defense? I think that's how the Steelers got back in it. I don't see that happening tonight.
And you can follow
on Monday night.
Yeah, and you can follow Billy on Twitter at Grand Jefe. Can you spell that for them, Billy?
GRANXJEFE, all one word. And also, you guys can also give the Unpopular Opinion Twitter page and Facebook page a follow and a like. That'd be greatly appreciated.
Do it. They are all in the link in the description here. But Billy, I kind of want to get off topic of game picks, like a little bit, and address the Steeler issue. Say the Steelers get blown out on Monday night, which they won't because they're going to win. But let's say they do. They get blown out 17 to 20 points. Is Mike Tomlin gone after week 3?
Oh, no, I think he's still there. I think that the Rooney brothers have a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin, or else he would be gone already. So I think they at least let him finish the season, but I don't think he's gone if they lose this game.
Do you think he rights the ship at all during the year?
No, I don't think so. I said it once Le'Veon Bell said that he wasn't going to report that, I think this team is going to go down. But just Big Ben and Antonio Brown, that's not going to be enough because what worked for them is having Le'Veon Bell being able to not have people double coverage and Antonio Brown out on the perimeter. Now he has nobody to stop them from doubling him because James Conner is not the guy that people think that he was going to be or the Steelers thought he was going to be. Maybe they were just mad at Le'Veon and they were just saying anything. But with Le'Veon not being there, that hurts that offense big time. Not to mention, his 300-plus carries that he get, this guy also catches 70 passes a year. That's crazy for a running back. He caught 75 passes last year. That's a lot of passes for a running back. Sometimes they split him out wide. They get in different formations. So I think Le'Veon not being there, I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs this year.
And thanks to Le'Veon, my fantasy team probably won't make the playoffs either. I definitely drafted him first overall.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. I had a chance to do him, but no, I thought about it.
Yeah, my heart slowly breaks every day that he's not there because I'm missing my 27, 28 points when I'm getting beat, by 5 or 6 points because he's not there. But
for sure, man.
But as always, guys, thanks for joining us on RTF Sports Talk. We are going to have some slight changes. There is a new channel in the description if you're listening to us on YouTube. It's strictly a RTF Sports Talk page. We'll be there live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. starting next Thursday, which is the 28th, I do believe. The 27th, I'm sorry. Yeah, so September 27th, we'll start going on at live at 1 p.m. on that new channel. So make sure you click and subscribe and hit that bell icon on that link. But on this particular video, if you could, like, comment, and subscribe. Also share that as much as you can. Tweet at Mr. Grand Jefe on the Twitter machine during games today. He's pretty active on like on there. If you want to have a little friendly conversation, feel free. But as always, thanks for joining us, and go give Unpopular Opinion a like, comment, and follow as well on any podcast, Google Podcast, iTunes, Apple Music, etc. Any last words, Billy?
Yes. Just on that, if you guys be looking for the Unpopular Opinion podcast on iTunes, there is a new link. The old link only works on Tuesdays and Thursdays whenever I have special guests. There's a new link. If you guys go follow the Unpopular Opinion Facebook page or the Twitter page, I normally post that new link on there.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays, you go live, right?
Yes, on Tuesdays and Thursdays I go live. Also on Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Spreaker I go live, but I normally tweet out the link and I put the link on Facebook on the Unpopular Opinion Facebook page. I go live on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 12 noon. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I just work with my guests, so whatever time they're free, I just normally tweet it out and let people know, like, hey, this is the time I'm going to go live.
So that's why you guys need to follow that Facebook page, follow his Twitter, and if you just subscribe to the podcast, you'll get notifications every time something comes up.
Exactly.
So do it. Give it a ranking, 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, definitely tell him why it's not 5 stars so we can always improve every show that we're a part of. But as always, guys, thanks for joining us. Like I said, we'll see you on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. on this channel. But starting next Thursday, it's 1 p.m. on the new channel. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Go Chiefs!